Social media. What does social media mean? Well, here we have a definition that social media includes the various online technology tools that enable people to communicate easily via the internet to share information and resources. Social media can include text, audio, video, images, podcasts, and other multimedia communications. So while social media encompasses many things, and here you can see logos for a number of the most popular social mediums, we're going to look at two in particular that have communication as their primary focus, and that includes Facebook and Twitter. So the first one we're going to look at is Facebook. And Facebook does a lot of things. Primarily, it is a network where you sign up and you connect with your friends. And so the first thing you need to do when you are part of Facebook is adjust your privacy settings. They are pretty liberal by default, and that's not going to be the level of openness that you're probably going to be comfortable with. So you should go into your privacy settings and adjust them to your comfort level. Secondly, you need to decide, is this going to be a personal endeavor for you or a professional endeavor for you? And by that I mean, are you going to be in your social network that you people that you become friends with in this network, are you going to include just your friends, just your family, just your coworkers, or all of the above? Because, for example, if you have people, coworkers that are part of your Facebook network, then you have to be really careful about the things that you say, because you can't complain about your day at work or your boss the way you might be able to if it was just your friends or just your family. And lastly, you should embrace integrated sharing avenues. And by that I mean, while you can send a picture through email, you can attach it, it's much better and more effective to share photos through Facebook or videos, things of that nature. You can put them into Facebook, all your friends will be able to see them in a very organized fashion that's much more easy to use and appealing than a simple email attachment. There are a couple of things to stay away from and keep in mind not to do when you're using Facebook. And the first is I would heavily caution you against using any third-party applications. These are typically functionality extenders or games, and also a primary avenue for security threats, people taking over your Facebook account. And so they're just a bad thing in general. So I would recommend staying away from those. And lastly, again, more than anything, Facebook, even though you have adjusted your privacy settings, I would not assume that anything is truly private. Don't put anything online, especially Facebook, that you wouldn't want to be on the front page of your local newspaper. And the last service we're going to talk about is Twitter. Things to do for Twitter. Well, I guess I'll explain a little bit about Twitter. Twitter is a very lightweight service that is kind of a mix between text messaging and Facebook. You make an account and you follow other people's accounts, and they will follow your account. It's different from Facebook in the sense that in Facebook you have to say, I'm your friend, and they say, okay, I'm your friend too, and that establishes a link. Twitter is one way. Someone doesn't have to confirm your friendship for you to be able to follow their Twitter updates. And their Twitter updates are the text message-like aspect, because their updates can be no longer than 140 characters. As a result, they're very small, easy to write, and it's something that updates very quickly, and so they have a very short shelf life. And it is also largely only one-way communication as a result of the aforementioned network setup. So, some things to do on Twitter. I would recommend using Twitter only for personal purposes, only with your friends and not your coworkers, but at the same time, I would recommend following people that you don't know, because it can also be used as a source of news. A lot of news agencies have accounts. CNN has an account where you can sign up, and they'll send you breaking news as it happens, and that way you can know about things as they're going on. And it's another neat application for communication. And lastly, whenever possible, I would recommend integrating the service with your phone because, like I said, it's a very transient medium, and to only check it once a day is really to miss out on the full experience of the service. Lastly, I would not, in the don't expect to find value in it right away. It's such a simple platform that doesn't give you specific direction in how to use it, that it takes a little while to figure out, how am I going to use this? What do I want it to be? Is this going to be a way that I primarily communicate to my friends, or a way that I primarily consume news or communication from others? What do I want to, how do I want to integrate that in my life? That's not something that happens right away. But it is a valuable service that's worth pursuing. And lastly, don't try to use it for private conversations, because while there is the capability for direct messaging between users, it's very easy to get confused with the public messages. You could very easily wind up in a situation where a conversation that you intend to be private becomes very public. So now that we looked at them one at a time, what are some general things to keep in mind? There's 3. First of all, as with all textual communication, don't attempt sarcasm. It's not a good idea. It's not going to come across right. Speak factually. Something that you should always do, especially as you integrate additional electronic communication medium, is to respond to people in the same communication medium that they initiated contact with. For example, if someone emails you, you should email them back. If someone text messages you, you should text message them back. If someone sends you a Facebook message, you shouldn't text message them. The method that they choose to use probably has a lot to do with the urgency of the communication. And so keeping it on that same level keeps the flow going at the appropriate pace for that conversation, and also makes it easier to keep track of. And lastly, I know this is all very intimidating and goes by very fast, so I would say focus on one at a time. Don't dive into everything all at once, but go into them one at a time, and you'll have a very positive experience, I think.